Hi, I'm Sandy, and today I'm going to show you how to make a butterfly jar that you can use to hold pencils, or it can be a candle holder or a vase. And we're just going to use a few supplies like tissue paper and some Mod Podge. You can make this craft with a few household supplies. This is an empty pickle jar. I've got some tissue paper left over from wrapping presents. A foam brush works really well to apply the Mod Podge. And if you don't have any Mod Podge, it's okay to use white glue. You just dilute it to about 50% with some water. And here's my little cup to put the Mod Podge in. And if you want a little candle, this is an electric tea light to put inside it when we're done. Before you start applying any of the paper to the jar with the Mod Podge, you're going to want to go ahead and measure out the sizes that you need. I've decided to use this light blue for a background, and I've cut it so that it is approximately the height of the rim of the jar. And I've also already cut grass to go around, and to do this, just cut triangles into a piece of green tissue paper. So you're just going to want to cut a triangle down to make the blades of grass. And I've also cut out some butterflies. And these don't have to be perfect. Once you've put them on, it's pretty obvious what they are. And to do that, I just had some scraps of tissue paper that I folded over. And I kind of cut a double heart design for this. Again, no need to try to make it perfect. Kind of cut like you would a heart. And there you have quite a few. You can trim them up if you don't like the way they look. And then we're just going to start putting it on in layers on our jar. I like to put my hand inside the jar and hold it upside down, and just start by putting a thin layer of Mod Podge on. And forgive me if I call it Mod Podge. I seem to do that quite a bit. It's actually Mod Podge. And just put a coat on the sides all the way around. And whatever color you chose for your background color, we'll go ahead and put that on. I usually put mine so that it goes a little bit on the rim or the bottom, sometimes both, depending on if I've over measured it a little bit. And this is going to get a little bit sticky. That's why you want to measure things ahead of time. Otherwise, you very quickly have a big mess. And it's okay for it to be crinkly. And if you have a little bit too much, just put a little bit more Mod Podge on and fold it over. This is where I usually take a little bit and put a top coat on. This helps it be a little bit shiny. It's going to dry clear, so don't worry if you think you've overdone it. If you have any excess around the rim or around the bottom, go ahead and just kind of smooth that down. The bigger jars work out nicely if you can put your hand inside of it so that you can work like that. I like it to be a little bit crinkly. It's nearly impossible to get it smooth, so just going to set this upside down. And while it's sitting upside down, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the grass piece around this way and just kind of smooth it a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and tear that piece off instead of doubling it here. And then I'll take the Mod Podge and smooth that part down. So I would go kind of light with the Mod Podge at this point and just smooth it down. You don't want to do too much, it'll tear the paper up. I plan on using this for a little tea light jar. And if you see that you've got an area where you wish you had a little bit more grass, you can just add it. And just go lightly with this. So it's a little bit sticky. You might want to let it dry before you go on to the next step. It dries pretty quickly, so just even a few minutes to give that glue a chance to dry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my butterflies while the background is still a little bit wet. I'm just going to put them all over, just dabbing a little bit more of the Mod Podge or glue. I like the bright colors. Just going to use my fingers and stick them on where I want. And you can use scrapbook paper, tissue paper, you can print these out. You can use construction paper, whatever you like. I like to work with tissue paper, it dries really quickly. And as you can see, it's very sticky. Okay, once you have the butterflies on where you want them, then I would go ahead and just put a little bit more glue on top of them. It'll make it shiny and it'll help them stick. Once you have let your jar completely dry, maybe about an hour or so, depending on how much glue you used, you can drop an electric tea light in it, or some pencils, or some flowers.